Welcome to Holiday Salute, a tribute to our armed forces.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Battleship Wisconsin and our 31st annual Holiday Salute.
For the past 3 decades, 13 News Now has done its part to honor the sacrifices of the servicemen and women, especially during the holidays.
It's a special burden that our military neighbors take on. Nobody drafted them. They all serve willingly, even if it means being away from everyone they love during this most sacred season. Tonight, Regina, Lucy, and I are going to introduce you to all kinds of local heroes, but we begin with the men and women of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. While the rest of us have been enjoying our summer and fall back here at home, they've been 8,000 miles away on the other side of the world, leading the fight in Operation Inherent Resolve.
There's a huge sacrifice we have to make being in the service, but it's for the greater good, and I cannot dwell on being sad or being missed. I have a mission ahead of me that I need to focus on, and I would hope that my family is thinking of me as much as I'm thinking of them.
There are mixed feelings aplenty aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower this holiday season. What's it like?
It's a little rough. You miss family. You want to be around family, but once you're here, you only miss that eating with your Navy friends and stuff. It makes it all better. I miss my daughter, and I miss the food. I miss the food. It's and they always sending pictures of the food. It's very sad. Like, I'm a big eater.
Food is one subject that keeps coming up. We wanted to know, what do they miss the most?
My name is Seaman Christian Neal. I'm from D.C. I miss my mama's pork chops with gravy with the mashed potatoes on the side.
I'm Seaman Amber Greenwich from Brooklyn, New York, and the food I miss the most is everything my mom makes. Everything my mom makes is good, so that's what I miss the most.
Hi, I'm Petty Officer Brian CANOLES, Baltimore, Maryland, and I gotta say, the food that I miss most back home is a nice T-bone steak.
All right, how you doing? I'm Jamar Williams, Petty Officer, First Class, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the best city ever. Of course, I miss my cheesesteaks, but the most important thing is my wife's fried turkey and greens.
All right, how you doing? I'm Petty Officer First Class Jamie Gooch. I'm from Oakland, California. And the thing I miss the most, I would have to say, is my mother's macaroni and cheese, the best ever.
For the Eisenhower, it's a true case of better late than never. They were supposed to have deployed last year, but they ran into a series of unexpected delays in the shipyard. All of those repairs have since been made. They are underway and answering the nation's call. Have you ever been gone at the holiday time before?
During boot camp.
Yeah, what was that like?
It wasn't too great. I like being around my family. I'm a family kind of person, and definitely being away from family isn't so great, but I'm serving my country proudly, so that's all that matters.
They try to focus on the job at hand, defending the country. Still, they can't help but thinking about what they're missing back home at Christmas time.
I actually have a son right now. He's with my ex-wife in Oklahoma, and I'm going to miss them a lot. Got a lot of family and friends around the area, as well as in Jacksonville, Florida, that I'm going to miss a lot. Yeah, I know they're going to be sad. I just try and do what I can to alleviate that pressure. I got a lot of strong friends and family that are going to step in and try and fill those shoes while I'm going to be gone in a way.
My first deployment, I had I hit the holidays, and we were out to sea during the holidays, and so it was tough to be away the first time, especially the first time. It's not what you're used to. Some of these people are used to being around family, and so if the ship, a lot of times the ship's trying to make it a family feeling. A lot of times the meals will be a very big and very good meals, and try to make that a real home feel for the sailors.
And despite however many times some may have done this, it never gets any easier.
But for me, individually, this will be my 3rd deployment, so I'm adequately used to it. I mean, I'm not like 100%, used to it, but I feel like I can manage it better because, I get into that mindset to where, I'm on deployment, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, and I'm out here to do what the Navy needs me to do.
How do you get through it?
One day,
easy, right?
No, one day at a time. Try to make the best of it. with what we'll offer here on the ship. You know, we'll have a good meal. We'll have the opportunity, hopefully, to contact families. Yeah, there is no real easy answer for it. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own way of coping.
Do you think that part will be hard?
Yes and no. It's business as usual, though. You know, try not to think about it and just go along with the flow.
I think I've been out to sea for plenty of holidays. This is what I signed up for. It is awesome. That's actually why I checked in here, so I can get another deployment.
Really?
So I'm excited about deployment.
How come? What is it about deployment that you like so much?
I think it's rewarding, it's fulfilling. That's what I came to do, so I don't want to just sit in the yards or on land. I'd rather deploy.
So deploy they did, and at least they did it with 5,000 of their closest friends.
From USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN 69, Happy Holidays!
This year, a holiday salute to the thousands of men and women who are part of the shipbuilding industry here in Hampton Roads. Shipbuilding and maintenance is something the region is really proud of. And for one family, the Butlers, the pride goes back 220 years.
Declare that we are less independent than our forefathers.
In 1886, the year President Grover Cleveland dedicated the Statue of Liberty, history was being made in another East Coast port. Along the James River, Newport News Shipbuilding was born. The facility provided jobs for 200 men and boys, including 10-year-old Joseph Garrett Butler. He was paid 75 cents a day to deliver cold water to the men who were building a first-of-its-kind tugboat called Dorothy.
While I was walking down the beach one bright and sunny day.
In 1951, Joseph Garrett Butler's grandson, Joseph Butler, helped with the construction of the SS United States.
One day at lunchtime, I walked up on the top deck or what have you, and when I looked down in the swimming pool, you could see your face in it. I mean, it was just amazing.
Joseph's brother John worked as a welding instructor as the nation was at war abroad and at home.
And that was a crucial time with the Vietnam War, and our president got assassinated.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m.
That was a bad time in the shipyard.
5 years later, the carrier bearing the late president's name was commissioned in a bitter-sweet ceremony.
I'm sure he would have done that if he hadn't been assassinated.
The Vietnam War was coming to an end when 18-year-old Joe Butler Jr. started his first job at Newport News Shipbuilding in 1974.
My first job was to move 50-pound bags of cement from the pallet into our storage building. So that's what I did all day my first day there.
Today, he is a veteran systems engineer.
Well, over the years, I've got to experience several of the carriers from start to finish. When you first see them set it down in the dock, you're looking at just these hunks of steel, but then you see it start to come together.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
The end of the Cold War brought to the surface the need for new technology to build the nation's warships.
When I come into the yard, you were encouraged to learn how to read drawings, so you've got all the paper blueprints you're looking at to see how the ship goes together. Well, now we're getting into model-based, which we've been at for a while, but that was really just the engineers designing the ship using the three-dimensional model. Now we're getting to take that model and convert it where it will fit on a tablet, so we can give the workers their visual work instruction where they can see the model, spin it around, and actually see how the parts of the ship fit together instead of the paper drawings. That is, to me, very amazing.
In 1981, Joe's brother Jimmy joined the yard. He got lost on his first day.
I wasn't really paying attention to where I was at or which direction we were heading. So finally, around lunchtime, I got the nerve to ask the guy I was working with, hey, how do I get back to my car from here?
For the Butlers, young and old, working in the yard is more than just a career. It's personal.
I've got a picture on my wall in my office, you know, it says, would you trust the life of a family member to something you worked on? And under it, I've got yes.
In an instant, the world changed. The date was September 11th, 2001. Andrew Joe Butler was in high school when the first shot was fired in what would become the war on terrorism. The Butler, who swore he would never work at the shipyard, ended up working in the same cubicle with his dad.
I came on and we were still using paper drawings. But now they're turning these models and stuff into visual drawings and visual work instructions where it's showing a picture of how this thing is going to get put together. And
as the Butlers poured over images of their handiwork at Newport News Shipbuilding, a full circle moment emerged. Today, stepson Dan Bloom is part of the team working to dismantle the enterprise and prepare it for decommissioning.
Every day you have very strict procedures and guidelines and rules that you have to follow in order to make sure that everything is done.
With the full power of Navy and shipyard know-how on display, the Butlers' dedication means giving the Navy their best.
Whenever you go on a sub or a carrier, you always get that feeling of 100%.
I better get this right.
I gotta get it right.
It could cost the U.S. lives
Yes.
if I miss something by a millimeter.
Yes.
We spend the holidays with the air wings of the USS Eisenhower, next on Holiday Salute, a tribute to our armed forces.
Leading the way for the USS Ike team has been the ship's air wing. Much of the fight against ISIS has been carried out by Hampton Roads-based squadrons. I got to spend time with VAW 123 and VFA 105.
From VFA 105, the Gunslingers, happy holidays!
For members of Carrier Air Wing 3 aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, this deployment has been all about Operation Inherent Resolve. Airstrikes have been ongoing since late June, with the Navy saying the primary focus is to dismantle and roll back terrorist networks in Syria, Iraq, and elsewhere, and to ensure free flow of commerce. From June 28th to July 8th, Ike launched 116 sorties from the eastern Mediterranean Sea, supporting the 19-nation air coalition combating the militant groups in Iraq and Syria. Then they moved to the Persian Gulf as their base of operations.
It's nice to wake up every morning and know that that you're doing something to contribute to the safety and security of our country. So it is a rewarding job, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Not so fun, says VFA 105 pilot Lieutenant Dave Bellis, is being deployed like this at the holidays, but they're making do.
There's going to be plenty more holidays down the road that you can enjoy with your family. So this one you're going to miss, but you're doing something important, and it's definitely worth it for the greater good.
But it's not easy.
Holidays all the time. I have a boy who's 10, lives with his mother up in Delaware, and I missed a lot of holidays with him. I've been over in Italy. I've been over in Japan for 2 years at a stretch. So seeing him once a year is hard. So watching my boy grow up in pictures, and I know I'm not the only person. It happens all the time, and so it's just everyone has to deal with it in their own way.
And it's a terrible feeling, but it brings me a sense of pride knowing that I'm away from my family, trying to protect them, and just keeping them safe from people that want to take away our way of living.
The best thing, according to members of Oceana Squadron VFA 105, is to stay busy.
I have a wife and a 1-year-old. I'll miss them, but we have ways to keep in contact on the ship, thankfully, and I know they'll be thinking about me. I'll be thinking about them.
I mean, I'm going to be working all the time, so I'll be keeping busy, but I mean, I have my mom, my dad, I have a wife. I mean, it'll be kind of hard, but we'll stick it through, we'll keep in communication. So
it's going to be very different because I'm a very family-oriented person, but I think I can make a new family. Like, I'll be with these people for a very long time.
Well, this will be my first time away from home for the holidays, so that makes me a little scared and a little nervous, but I mean, you can celebrate the holidays any time of the year, so when I get back with my family, we can celebrate then.
The screw tops of Naval Station Norfolk Base Squadron VAW 123 have a critical mission as well.
Our job as airspace command and control, battlefield command and control, is to go out and kind of build the picture for our commanders to make informed decisions.
It's a lot of flying, leaving not much time to dwell on what they're missing back home during the holidays, says Pilot Lieutenant Junior Grade T.J. Browning.
Through the years, we've missed many of the small holidays, a bunch of Thanksgivings. This will be the first Christmas, which will be interesting. So we'll see how we get through that. It is hard. But you build them up. You have good prep work. I read a lot of letters back home. Let them know that I love them, that I miss them, and they're letting me know the same. And we're doing this together. Even though we're separated by many miles, we're getting through this together.
Squadron members find that it's better to concentrate on what they do have, their shipmates, and not on what they don't.
I'm going to miss my family. Everyone's going to miss their family, but we signed a piece of paper, so. I mean, I'm fine with it. It doesn't really bother me. At times, okay, I want to be with my family, but, screw tops, that's my family, that's my second family, so it's fine.
Gets me down a little bit, not seeing the families over the holidays now, but there's always next year, and I'm sure I'll see them after the deployment sometime, so.
In the end, it's all about mission. That's just the way it is, and maybe that's for the best.
And kind of have just our missions on our mind. You don't really have a whole lot of time to think about back home, but as they're there watching the news, probably watching this now, they're probably missing us a little bit more than we miss them. So,
you think it'll be okay for everybody, for all concerned?
I think it will, yes sir.
Next, we meet two local women who've made it their mission to make sure our fallen men and women are remembered during the holidays.
As one Gold Star father told me recently, you don't want to see your child die twice. Here's what he meant. The first time is when they're physically taken from you. The second time is when you know that their service has been forgotten. Today, we're going to introduce you to two women who have made it their life mission to make sure that no one forgets the service members, especially during the holidays.
Just off of Milner's Road in Suffolk is a place that brings Betty Hand to tears.
My dad is out there. He was a World War II veteran. It's extremely meaningful, and he was really proud of what I did.
A veteran herself, Betty does not miss a holiday, but it was Christmas when she laid a wreath at her father's grave that she noticed how many graves at Albert Horton Cemetery were bare.
And we were just looking around going, this could be done better.
So she started fundraising.
We fundraise all year long.
To put a wreath on every tombstone at Christmas. 2016, mission accomplished.
So this year, every single headstone will have a wreath, 8,000 wreaths.
And while it started because of love for her father, it spread to the fathers and mothers, children and siblings of so many other people.
It becomes very personal to people when they know that family, friends, neighbors are buried out there and that they can come out and see them.
But then there are those who have to travel north to Arlington National Cemetery to see their dads.
On Father's Day, you don't go to baseball games, but you go to, their final resting place. And for many of our friends, it's Arlington National Cemetery.
The trip can be downright painful.
I was talking to, a lot of my girlfriends that are widows, and they were just they would always tell me the holidays were the hardest time for them.
So Navy wife of 10 years, Bree Kingsbury, decided to do something. She lost nearly a dozen friends on August 6, 2011, when Virginia Beach-based Navy SEALs got shot down over Afghanistan. Many of them are buried in Section 60 of Arlington. And she, just like Betty Hand, thought that donating wreaths to cover their grave sites and placing them a week before Christmas was a tangible way to show love to her friends. So she started Team Bear, a local chapter of Wreaths Across America.
The best way to honor our fallen service members is to take care of the families they left behind. And by going to Arlington, by bringing all of our friends and family, we really make it a celebration of life.
In fact, she has turned over the celebration of her own life to them. Her birthday happens to coincide with the weekend families go to lay wreaths at the cemetery. She will tell you, don't send a card, send a wreath. For 4 years, she has taken Gold Star families with her to lay wreaths at Section 60 for her friends. And in her caravan of care is Gold Star father Mark Stett Sr., whose son Mark Jr. was one of the 3 Army soldiers to die in Pakistan during this war.
But it's an honor to sit there and say, we're celebrating Christmas with you.
Stett says it's an incredible feeling to know that his son's sacrifice is honored.
It means that the nation is not forgetting.
His son was 39 when he died. Bree gets to turn 40 this year. Arlington is a place that reminds her to be grateful for her own life, but for those who have sacrificed theirs, even more so.
Not that I love getting gray hair and, wrinkles and, all the things that come with getting older, but those are luxuries that most of my friends didn't have. So I really look at getting older as a blessing.
And with that, we complete another holiday salute.
And we thank you so much for joining us. And we thank our service members and their families who give up so much this time of year and year round.
To each and every one of them and to all of you, we say thank you and
Happy holidays!
We leave you now with the sights and sounds of the U.S. Fleet Forces Band.